morning, elementary. How are you guys? Are you ready? I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm ready or not, because I'm ready because this is the last chapel. This is the last chapel of 2020-2021 school year. How crazy is that? But then I keep thinking, this is the last chapel. I don't get to be in their like chapel anymore. We're not doing chapel anymore because next Thursday is like getting ready to go away for the summer and cleaning our rooms and getting everything all set. And so this is the last one. Plus, our K4 and K5 won't be here next week because they're graduating. Congratulations, K4 and K5. And good job for working so hard this year and getting to this point where you get to graduate and get ready for your next year. That's exciting. So I'm not going to take too long with some of the things that I would love to say. I've loved being in your classrooms with you this year and doing chapel. It's been such a joy to my heart, and I hope that you've enjoyed it and remember some of the things that we've learned. If you need some makeup catch up, you can always watch me because I'm on YouTube, so you can watch it over the summer. I heard some of you say no. That was kind of rude. But it's fine. I still love you. Anyway, but I hope that you'll remember some of the things that you learned and that you won't forget. And that's kind of where we're going today. Are you ready? Because you're going to go and you're not going to be in school anymore. You're not going to have Bible every day. You're not going to have chapel every Thursday. You're not going to have people all around you telling you and infiltrating you with gospel and verses and the Lord. And sometimes Satan uses that as a time to say, you know what, I'm going to take a break from God and I'm going to take a break from doing the things that are bringing me closer to him. And I'm going to take a break from God as well as from all my schoolwork this summer. I hope that that won't be you. Never take a break from God because he died for you. He loves you and he's always there for you. So I hope that you'll still be faithful to him, still learn verses and show up in church or, be around good Christian people, have play dates and things with each other so that you can stay in close contact with other Christians who are going to encourage you in the Lord. Well, let's get to today's story so we can talk about that, because I also want to hopefully have a video afterward that you'll be able to see after I read the story, okay? So this is from Grandma's Gospels, okay? We've been reading throughout the year, but this story is called Beauty on the Inside. Let's see. Grandma, said Katie, will I be pretty when I grow up? I don't look like those girls on TV and in the magazines. I want to be taller. Katie, smiled Grandma. God made us all special, each in a different way, just like flowers. Now, if third graders are really paying attention right now, which sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, if we're honest, but if they're really paying attention right now, they're going, oh, we just talked about that in health class yesterday. How crazy. Yeah, here we're talking about it. God made us all special in a different way, just like flowers are all different. Some people are tall, some are short, some have dark hair and dark skin, some have red hair and freckles. Zoe. Some have cute brown ponytails. But God made us all like him. So we all have some beauty somewhere. It's more important for you to be beautiful inside than outside anyway, Grandma said. Let me tell you a Bible story about someone whose real beauty was inside. There's Grandma and Katie. King Xerxes was a show-off. He thought that owning lots of beautiful things made him important. He needed to feel important because he didn't know that God loved him. So he invited people to come and look at all of the fancy things that he owned. He had couches of gold and silver in his garden, but the poor people in his kingdom were sleeping on the ground. He was so proud of all the things that he had, and he didn't even care about other people in the kingdom. One day, the king invited everyone to a banquet that lasted for 7 days. Can you imagine going to a party that lasts for 7 days? He was like, I want to show everybody everything. After showing off everything, all of his stuff, and eating and drinking and acting very important, he ran out of things to eat and drink, and he ran out of things to say. I showed you everything. We ate all the food. We drank all the juice. What else do I do now? So he called for his wife, Queen Vashti, to show off her beauty and the jewels that he had given her. Go get my wife. Go tell her to come and tell her to wear her best crown. He sent orders for her to wear her crown and come and walk before the people so they can see you. But Queen Vashti refused to come. I'm not doing that. I'm not putting on my crown and wearing my jewels and walking around so that people could see that I'm the queen. I'm not going to do that. She didn't want to come and show off before all the strangers at his party. Well, this made the king look foolish, and he became angry, and he listened to bad advice from his friends because his friends all said, "Get rid of her. She's not listening to you. She's embarrassing you. She won't come and parade around with her crown on and all of her jewels and her fancy clothes. Get rid of her and find yourself a new queen." So King Xerxes sent Queen Vashti away. He gets rid of her. That's his queen. And he's like, yep, get rid of her. I don't care where you put her. Put her in the street somewhere, but she's no longer my queen. I'll find a new one. The king searched the entire kingdom for a new queen. She had to be very pure and, of course, very pretty. Near the palace lived a Jewish man, and his name was Mordecai. He had an adopted daughter named Esther, who loved God and was very beautiful. The king's messenger ordered her to go to the palace. You need to go to the palace. The king's looking for a new wife, and you might be pretty enough. We'll see. If the king chooses you, then you can be the new queen, but you need to go because you're kind of pretty. Ordered her to go to the palace to be judged by the king. So the king was going to look and go, yeah, no, not you. Not you. Oh, yep, you. You can be my new queen. He was going to judge them. So she told no one that she was a Jew because the king wasn't Jewish, and many times they didn't like Jewish people. But Esther was a Jew, but the king didn't know that. Esther was kind to everyone, and she made many friends in the palace. When it was time for the king to choose a new queen, he did choose Esther. The king was so pleased with Esther that he threw another big party to celebrate their marriage. I know all my boys are probably grossed out, but just stop. Okay. So he loved Esther, and he's like, we're going to have a party to celebrate my new queen. Mordecai was worried about Esther, and he often would go to the palace gate to see if she was being treated kindly. One day when he was there, he overheard two men talking about an evil plan to kill the king. They were going to kill the king, and Mordecai overheard it. Mordecai ran to tell Esther about the plan, and Esther ran to tell the king and saved his life. The king was so pleased with Esther and Mordecai that he had the story written in a special book. He had a book where if somebody did something nice for him, he would make somebody write it down. This person gave me flowers. This person told me I look good today. This person was really nice to me. This person saved my life. And they would write down all these things so that whenever he was feeling down and he was feeling sad, they could read off all these things and he would be happy again. So he had the story written in a special book where all important things of the kingdom were written. There are those men. Look at, he's got a knife behind him planning on killing the king. But Mordecai overheard it and saved the king's life. Now, there was an evil man who worked for the king. His name was Haman. Haman thought a lot of himself, and he was very puffed up with pride and with importance. I believe I'm very important, and I believe the king thinks I am as well. He wanted everyone to bow down to him just as they bowed down to the king. But Mordecai said, I'm not doing that. I will only bow down to God. I will not bow down to man. So everybody's bowing down. Oh, Mordecai said we got to bow down. Okay, we'll do it. Okay, we'll do it. I mean, he's not the king, but I guess we should just obey him anyway because he's kind of important. And Mordecai said, I will not. I will only bow to God. Well, that made Haman upset, and Haman complained to the king. The Jews are always causing trouble. They're not doing things that they should be doing. So can I have a plan? Can I have permission to just get rid of them all, O king? Sure. The king just looked at Haman and was like, all right, if you want to get rid of the Jews, I don't care. They don't, I mean, I'm not Jewish. I don't know anybody who's Jewish, even though the queen was. He didn't know it. I'm not really worried about it. Go ahead. You can get rid of them if you want. Kill them all. I don't care. So the king agreed to Haman's plan. Wicked Haman rubbed his hands and smiled. He wrote a letter and sent it to everyone in the kingdom. The letter said that on a certain day, all of the Jews would be killed. Every Jew in the land was so afraid. When Mordecai read the letter, he wailed and tore his clothes. Oh no, I'm going to die. All my family's going to die, even the queen, because Esther is a Jew and she would be part of that. He stopped crying when he thought about Esther, though, and he sent a message to his adopted daughter, Queen Esther. Please, Esther, you have to go and beg the king to change his mind and let the Jews live, he wrote. Now, that was a very dangerous plan. There's wicked Haman talking to the king. Because no one was allowed to see the king without a special invitation. Not even his family, not even the queen. Coming into the king's presence without permission meant death, certain death. The king would kill you if you came. I didn't ask to see you. Take him away, take her away, kill her. But Mordecai begged Esther to try. Please, everyone will die if you don't talk some sense into the king. I know you might die, but if you don't talk some sense into the king, we might lose everybody. Maybe God made you queen just so you could save your people from death. Maybe that's the reason why you are in this position. God has you here for a reason, for this time. So Esther prayed and she said, okay, I will go and try to save my people, but you must ask all the Jews in our country to pray to God to help me. They must not eat or drink for 3 days, and they need to pray constantly. My servants and I will pray and fast too. Then I will go talk to the king. Even if I die, I will go and talk to the king to see if I can save the Jewish people. After 3 days of praying, Queen Esther was ready. She put on her best royal clothes and walked bravely into the courtyard of the king because she knew God was with her. When the king saw her, he smiled. He could have said, "What are you doing here? Take her away and kill her." But he smiled and he held out his golden scepter and said, "I accept you." He was pleased that she had come to him. "What do you want, dear Esther, my queen?" smiled the king. "I will give you half of my kingdom." "All I desire, O king, is to have you come to a small dinner party I have planned for Haman." Wait, why is Queen Esther saying she's going to she wants the king just to come to a dinner party? I thought she was going to tell him not to kill the Jews. Meanwhile, Haman was up to his usual dirty tricks. He had a large platform built and planned to ask the king to hang Mordecai on it. But that night, God intervened and began to answer all the prayers of his people, the Jews, including Esther. The king could not sleep. So he asked a servant to read the kingdom's special book of events. Remember the book where they write down all the good things that people have done, the kind things that they did to him, so then that helps him to feel better, and maybe he'll be able to go off to sleep. So the servant brought the book, and he read of the time when Mordecai reported the 2 men who had planned to kill the king. Hey! The king woke up, not woke up because he was already awake, but he sat up in bed and he said, "Wait a minute, have we done anything for that man Mordecai? He needs something special done for him because he saved my life. He needs to be honored for his good deed." That's what Haman was planning for Mordecai, but now the king has something else planned. Haman went to ask the king to hang Mordecai. I'm going to go ask him if we can kill the Jews and if I can hang Mordecai because he's really one of the biggest problems. But before he could ask, the king asked Haman to plan a special ceremony for a special person. Haman thought the king meant him. The king wants to honor me, but he doesn't want to tell me that he's going to honor me. He just wants my advice because he wants to know what I would like. This is so awesome. So he thought of a fancy plan for himself. Oh, what should I do? Well, you want to honor somebody special? I know it's me. Don't tell him that I know. It's okay. Okay, so, well, give him one of your royal robes and a special royal horse to ride on. Then have your servants parade him around, telling everyone in the kingdom that the king is very proud of him. Does that sound okay, King? Maybe, that would be a good idea, maybe, because I know I would love that, and I know it's for me anyway, so how does that sound? Great idea, said the king. Go immediately and do that for Mordecai. Oh no, thought Haman. He was shocked because he didn't want to do that. He wanted to kill Haman. Now the king wants him to parade him around and wearing a royal, but that was his plan. And now he's got to obey. So he obeyed. After honoring Mordecai, Haman hurried to the palace for that special banquet that Queen Esther was planning on having with him and the king. As they ate, Queen Esther told the king she needed a favor. There is an enemy, O king, who is planning to kill me and all of my relatives and friends. We need your protection. The king was furious. He loved Esther. He thought she was his beautiful new wife. I don't want anything to happen to her. Who would dare to plan this? He demanded. Haman. Haman was sitting at the dinner table, and he thought he was a very important man, and now Queen Esther just told on him. Haman wants to plan to kill us all, answered Esther. The king became so angry that he rushed out to the garden to think. Haman quickly begged Esther to save his life. Oh, Esther, please, I promise I won't, we won't do anything. And so the king's sitting there going, what can I do? I can't believe Haman would do this to me. Just then the king returned. He called for his soldiers to arrest Haman. One of the king's servants told him about the platform that Haman, remember, had built for Mordecai to hang him. Hang Haman from that platform, said the king. That will be perfect justice. That will teach him to dare to threaten my wife's life. Esther told the king that Mordecai had raised her and cared for her like a father. So the king called for Mordecai and honored him again. Then Esther fell at the king's feet and begged him once again, my king, please send out an order and cancel the plans to kill all the Jews. I could not bear to see all my family and friends killed. By law, the king could not cancel Haman's plans, even though he was the king. So instead, he sent out a new order that allowed the Jews to defend themselves. They could fight back. On the day the Jews were to be killed, they fought back bravely and lived. God's people were saved due to one young woman's bravery and faithfulness and the prayers of many people. There was a great joyful celebration all over the land. Jews still celebrate that day every year on a special Jewish holiday called Purim. So now everybody was able to be saved because of what Queen Esther did. So Grandma asked, who in the story was beautiful on the inside? Well, said Katie, Esther's courage and faith in God made her beautiful inside. I think the king found her beautiful because he could see the love for God in her face. Haman had beautiful clothes and fancy rings, but he was ugly inside because of the way he treated others. So how do you get beautiful on the inside, Grandma? You keep your eyes on God and reflect his beauty, Grandma said with a smile. It's a good thing Jefferson's so beautiful on the inside, laughed Katie. Who's Jefferson? That's their dog, right? And so when we think about that, the Bible tries to teach us that it's not about what we look like on the outside. It's about the heart, because there are some beautiful people, but on the inside, their hearts and their attitudes and their mindset is ugly. Are you beautiful on the inside? Are you pointing people to God and being kind and showing loving kindness? There are so many times that we might look great on the outside, but people look and think they're not very nice. They're not very kind. we can pray, dear God, help me to spend time with you so that I can be beautiful on the inside. That's what we ought to be praying. Help me to keep my feet on the right path. I'm going to be home and I'm going to be not in school anymore and not hearing Bible and Bible lessons and chapel lessons. Help me to obey the things that you still teach in the Bible, even when I'm home for the summer, even when I'm not around school and around my friends and around people that are leading me in the right way. Help me to stay beautiful on the inside for you. There was just a super quick story really quickly before I'm hoping to tag a video at the end of this that you'll be able to watch. I went a couple weeks ago to, there's one of my favorite places. It's a butterfly conservatory in Massachusetts. And I love going to that place because butterflies remind me of my mom. Now, my mom is in heaven with Jesus. She didn't love butterflies, but for some reason, every time I see butterflies, it makes me think of her and it makes my heart so happy. So I went to go see the butterflies and enjoy them. And as I was there at that butterfly place, it was very interesting because I was taking pictures of all these butterflies, but there was one butterfly that I kept. Not one butterfly, but one kind of butterfly, one species that I was like, oh, I really like this one this time. Normally I'm looking at all these beautiful butterflies and taking pictures, but there was one kind of butterfly that I just kept thinking, oh, I really love this one today. This one butterfly is really catching my attention because when you look at that butterfly, people were walking by it. They kept walking by it because they didn't see it, because it wasn't anything to look at. It didn't look very pretty. The outside of it looked like nothing. Looked just brown and ugly. It didn't have a beautiful color to its wings. And people wouldn't even recognize that it was there. And I'd walk by the same thing and I'd be like, oh, there it is. There it is. I've got to try to get a picture of it. And I would take a picture, and I forgot I was going to show it to my third graders, but I never did because I forgot all about it. But you'll see in the video that I'm going to tag that one kind of butterfly actually came and landed on my phone. First of all, it landed on my shirt, then it landed on my phone, and then it came onto my finger, and it wouldn't let go. And then it opened itself up. And I'll wait for you to see in the video what it looks like on the inside. I'll show you the outside. And you're like, wait a minute, where is it? That right there is the butterfly that I'm talking about. Not very impressive, is it? It kind of looks like a dead leaf. And that's what most people thought it was. And they walked right by it. But that one butterfly came on my finger, and eventually he kind of went to go fly away, and you'll get to see what it looked like inside. And remember, it's the beauty on the inside that matters, not the outside. If it's beautiful inside and outside, that's the best thing. But remember, it's what's inside. Stay faithful to the Lord this summer, guys. I love you, and I've loved doing chapel with you, and I pray for the best for you. It's safety and guidance and protection and all of that. But I can't wait to see many of you again next year. And I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful summer and stay beautiful on the inside. Stay close to God and don't lose sight of Him. I love you guys, and I will see you next time, next year. I love you guys. Bye. Have a wonderful rest of your school year. Be good. Bye, guys.